Yo, what's up guys, Shujinkydink here, and welcome to a video all about Mortal Kombat 11. Wanted to make a video after Combo Breaker. I saw a lot of interesting variations for characters that I hadn't seen before, and I hadn't really seen what they could do on a competitive level. Some were in pools, some were just my friends playing the characters. So I got some really cool ideas and stuff. So here are 5 variations that I saw in the game that either aren't really getting much love, aren't really talked about, or that I think have some hidden potential that we still haven't really outlined yet. Because I think characters like Garrus, Sonya Blade, those characters, their game plans are pretty straightforward from the get-go, but there may be some other characters who are maybe a little bit deeper, might take a little bit more time, and we just haven't really got there yet. That could be maybe not just as strong, but pretty up there. So let's get into it with number 5. Number 5 is Thin Ice Sub-Zero. Although most people have been playing Dead Winter Sub-Zero, this variation allows for a lot more options. Although you do lose the 50-50 combo, however it is a little bit slow on the overhead. Didn't realize how slow it was until I actually played it offline, and it's pretty reactable. In this variation he can keep you kind of away where he wants to with his air downward axe. He can also use that to go over projectiles if he wants to on reaction and punish, and of course he has a slide to go underneath them. So he really controls the neutral, which is what this variation is all about, and of course which is a large focus in Mortal Kombat 11. So I think that Thin Ice needs a little bit more looking into as far as the viability of it, and whether might actually be better than Dead of Winter. Number 4 is Next Gen Jackie. I believe this character has a lot of potential in her projectile because Jackie has great strings, lots of good staggers, and throwing in projectiles on top of that so you're not really like 100% able to outzone her is kind of just scary in all sorts of situations. Not to mention she can put down damage over time and get all sorts of damage increases, like 170 damage for a throw. That's pretty crazy. All sorts of damage buffs in the corner. She does lose a couple things like her cancel off of that string there, for example, but I think this kind of makes her a little bit more well-rounded and is definitely another variation that's worth looking into. Number 3 is Back in the Pack Collector. That's just a fun name. It's a fun variation name to say. I feel like this variation has almost everything. Like it has a teleport that you don't really have to worry about projectiles too much. You're kind of always on the offensive. Some great mid attacks. That's just Collector in general. And an awesome, one of the fastest command grabs in the game. Super quick. So one nice thing about this, and I'm not sure if they changed it recently, but if you get the command grab off of a roll, you get a crushing blow. And someone was mentioning that might be something that was put into the most recent patch. I'm going to mess it up a couple times here, so just ignore that. There you go. And it launches. So if you're a better collector player than me, you can find out some cool combos from that. So not only does that kind of discourage your opponent from rolling in the corner, but if they're sitting there blocking, they're just going to get hit with a command grab because his command grab is a mid, so you cannot duck it. You have to either jump or attack him. So that gives him, in my opinion, one of the strongest Oki games in Mortal Kombat 11 right now. I think that this character was just kind of, for whatever reason, just not given the chance to really be a great character. Like I mentioned, I think he has almost everything it takes to be a good character. Maybe he just hasn't fallen into the right hands yet. So number 3 is Back in the Pack Collector. Coming in at number 2 is Highborn Katana. And if you play this variation or you know someone who does, I don't have to explain to you how good it is. But let me explain to everybody else that maybe hasn't experienced the wonderfulness of Highborn Katana. Because there were a lot of Mileena stands out there. They're like, oh, Sai? That's not my Mileena. Not going to play that. So in this variation, she gets her stance, her blood stance, and then she also gets the Adenian razors, which we're going to go a little bit more into detail in afterwards. But I just want to talk about the stance first. So not only does Katana have amazing staggers, on top of having this stance with this back 2-3-1, the back 2 guess, and then whether she's going to do the crushing blow overhead at the end or not, but now she adds a different element to it because she can go into the stance, into gutted, and there's absolutely no gap there. It's -7, so I think only Garrus might be able to like down 1 it, so otherwise it's completely safe. But she doesn't have to do that afterwards. She can actually just go into this right there and throw the side down. So if you're sitting there blocking, expected the gutted or the overhead from this, the guess really isn't in your favor. And if you guess wrong and she throws this up, guess what? You're plus 13. You have to hold whatever she does afterwards. So she can just go back into it again. Same idea until she loops something into throwing herself into the corner or something like that. So not only does her stagger game increase tenfold, her neutral game increases tenfold, because she's not only got the fans, but she's got these. They're just going to come down on you from time to time, stop you from moving so she can get some fans out, and really just control the neutral. I feel like this variation was really just like pushed aside because Fanfare had better combos, whereas this one, you don't really have combos, but you control like everything, so it's a very strong fighting game variation in different ways. Oh, there you go there. Also, teleport kick, not safe. Probably your unsafest option, honestly, in all of this. But it's there if you need it. You know, if you want to get in, why not? Or you could just use that, just throw some fans. So, that aside, let's talk about her Adenian Razors. The frame data is a little bit misleading on this, because in the frame data in the moves list, it says that it is -6. However, if we turn on the in-game frame data, this is not the case. I'm going to show you this in the corner because this is primarily where she'll use this. So let's head over there real quick right now. Alright, so we're here in the corner. Let's say we're abusing them with the back 2, 3, 1 string, which is just one of many strings we can use. And instead of canceling it into this, or into that, which is going to force them to stand block, we decide to cancel it into Adenian Razors. So like I said, in the moves list it says negative, but if we do it here, you're plus 10. Plus 10 if they stand up and block the Adenian Razors. And if they don't and they duck, you're only at 6 recovery frames and 17 active frames. If you're not familiar with frame data, I'll put a link in the description to a video I did explaining it, but that is very, very good. There's really like very little risk to actually doing that move. It does seem to somehow behave different in the left corner and the right corner. Not exactly sure why, but it does. And that's just a thing that I guess we'll have to deal with. So you can see here in the right corner we do the exact same thing, and we're -6. So we're exactly what the game told us we're supposed to be. So for some reason this side doesn't work, so there is some inconsistency to that. So just keep that in mind when you're playing the character. Perhaps that's one of the reasons why people did not want to try her. I doubt it though, because she just has so many other options that she can do. I really don't think that that was the reason. But anyways, that's why I think Highborn Katana could be even a secret top tier. And my number 1 most overlooked variation is Totemic Kotal Kahn. This is probably a surprise to a lot of people because Kotal Kahn was very openly said that he was kind of really crappy and like a bottom tier character, and I just don't think, again, that anyone really gave him a chance, because let me go over this. So he has this the Kitty Pounce here, which has great corner carry. It's an awful move outside of that. Outside of a combo ender, maybe you would use it, but it's just not a great move outside of just the corner carry that you'll get, which is important going forward. He also has, he can do it in the air, which actually isn't too bad. You can amplify it. It's quick, goes over projectiles, so you know, quick 120 something damage. But that's not the reason that I think that this variation is overlooked. The reason I think it's overlooked is because of this totem here. And how this totem works is it will give you a percentage back. I think we figured it out. It's 37.5% of the damage that you do to your opponent. So there, you can see that Kotal Kahn just got a small amount of health back. So let's see, we're going to pull up this totem here, the little smiling totem. We're just going to do a throw here. And we're going to pay attention. I've set Kotal to 500 health, so off of a throw, Kotal gets back about 52.5 health, which is quite a bit of health, I'm not going to lie, especially if you're kind of in a clutch situation, you know, this kind of thing. And this is another thing where I think that characters with combos were kind of favored over characters without, because this variation does not have crazy combos or anything like that. But I do think that totem management is going to be a huge part of this variation, to just kind of always really be in the fight, you know, always have some health back just when you think, you know, you're kind of getting a bit of a life lead. He does 1 tiny little combo on you in there, 68 health back. So the beauty of this variation is you can actually stack these totems to get even more damage back. And they time out at a certain amount. So if you think one's about to time out, you can actually, just before it times out, you can add another one, and that will cash out whatever damage you've earned on the first one, and then give you double that for the second one. And you can actually do it up to 3 times, and get 3 times the damage for the third one. So I'm going to show you a bit of a hyperbolic situation with this, but you can kind of see where I'm going as far as the potential of this character. So as you can see, one small combo and one throw read, which would beat a get up attack roll, or just them blocking, got back 404 damage. Of course, this is stacked 3 totems, so like I said, it's a hyperbolic situation. But, you know, I've played a little bit of matches with him, and I've actually been exploring him a lot. And I don't think that's super out of reality to be able to hit something like that. So this is a variation that, having played with a little bit myself, I do think has a lot of potential and is my number 1 for the most overlooked variations. And that's it, guys. What do you guys think of my 5 most overlooked variations so far in Mortal Kombat 11? If you have one that I think I missed that is more overlooked, oof, that's I want to look into them. I was suggested this by Mr. Moss, the Totemic Kotal Kahn, and I've been looking into it a lot, and it's been a lot of fun. I've really been enjoying it. So yeah. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like because it really helps me out, and subscribe because we make new videos every single day. #BigDinkEnergy. See all you guys in the next video.